going to do your collagraph printing, you have to have your finished collagraph plate, meaning that you're done gluing down all the cardboard on the surface and it's dried and there's no wet glue. So once it's dried, now you're ready to print, and you're going to be printing on a variety of different papers. So you're going to do a print on black paper, white paper, and then whatever you did with bleeding tissue paper. So I had a warm color and a cool color sample, and I'm going to be making 4 prints on those different papers. So what you have to consider is the ink colors you work with need to show contrast. So this example was done on black paper with warm colors, because cool colors aren't going to contrast as well on the black background because the dark blue and the dark purple are too dark for the black paper. When you're doing your bleeding tissue print, think about opposite colors. So this one was done with warm colors in the bleeding tissue paper. So then cool color was chosen to print on top, and it was just the violets that was printed on top of that. White, you can really do any of the colors, except white ink is not going to show up on white paper, so you need to consider that. So I'm going to be doing a demo on my white paper to begin with, and I'm going to be working with cool colors. Now, the thing to remember about collagraph printing is it's not a painting and it's not a drawing, so you're not going to be able to get accurate colors in precise locations, because when you remember watching our video, you're using a brayer to apply the ink. So the brayer is going to roll across the printing plate, therefore you cannot control the paint stain in just one little area and not getting in another area. That is what's distinct about collagraph printing, is that the ink gets rolled across the whole thing. Now, you can mix a variety of colors when you do your printing, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate. So this print, I rolled across the plate yellows and pinks, and where they overlapped, I got that orange in between. So to get started, make sure that you're wearing an apron. You have to put an apron on to protect the front of your clothes and roll up long sleeves. You do not want that dragging across the ink. So at the different tables, the inks are set up in color groups. So this is a warm color option because I have yellow, orange, pink, and red. Other tables will have cool colors, 2 different blues, the green and the violet, and then we do have some monochromatic stations with white and black set up, in addition to silver and gold as options. So what you need to know about the inking process: you always have to apply the lightest color on your plate first. So from left to right, the paints are set out from light to dark. So yellow is the lightest in this group, then orange, then pink, then red. And because you have the option to mix colors, you need to roll onto the plate light to dark. So I'm only going to be working with these 3 colors: yellow, orange, pink. So the first thing that I need to do is apply ink to the plate if there's not already ink on the printing plate. So you're going to scoop out a little bit onto that popsicle stick, and I'm not making a heaping pile. That is way too much ink. That's going to be a huge waste. I just want kind of that amount of ink to begin with, and if you noticed, I wiped the bottom of the stick off onto the cup so the ink is just on the top of the stick. And then what I'm going to do is smear that across the plate. Then my popsicle stick goes right back in that ink color. Now I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to roll this across my plate, up and down, and then I'm going to roll it left to right. I'm going to roll it 2 different directions. What this is doing is making an even application of ink across the brayer. You should hear the ink getting sticky. So when you hear that sticky sound, you know that you've got enough ink on your brayer, and you should be able to see that plate is also getting sticky across the surface. And if I look at my brayer, it's completely even all the way around. Now I'm ready to roll it across my printing plate. So I'm going to put that plate on the table in front of me. You can scoot these pallets up away if there's if there's not enough room to roll. So now I'm going to make a plan. Maybe I just do yellow in the bottom, orange in the middle, pink on the top. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll yellow across. And then I'm going to get my orange on there. And really, I should have had this prepared ahead of time because you want to work kind of quickly so that your ink's not drying. Okay, and it is okay if my orange overlaps my yellow. That's perfectly fine. But you want to make sure it covers the whole plate. So right here, I didn't get any ink in the chest of my dog. So I'm going to roll more ink on my brayer. And I'm going to go in 2 different directions on my printing plate to make sure it gets an even coat. Then I'm going to set that back on my tray. And then I'm going to work with my 3rd color. Spread that across. I'm going to roll in 2 directions. So it's sticky. And then I'm going to roll across my top view. I'm going in 2 directions to make sure the raised up cardboard thoroughly got ink. Now I'm changing my hand pressure as I roll across my orange, so I'm not pressing as hard so that it starts to mix with my orange. And then I put that back on the plate. So now this plate is inked, and now I'm ready to do the printing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my printing paper as best as I can, center it over the top of my plate, and then I'm going to press down, and now I'm going to start massaging the paper. You want to make sure that you use enough hand pressure that that ink is going to transfer equally across that paper. So to check to see if you're finished, hold one hand down, peel the paper back. If you don't have enough ink, then press a little more. And that could have been because there wasn't enough ink on the plate. And collagraphs aren't going to get you precise, perfect prints every time. Now I'm going to hold on the top, I'm going to peel on the bottom. But what you do want to see clearly is your object. Background is one thing, but your object really should have a nice clear print. So now I'm checking to see, did the legs of my dog print? I'm going to massage more over the dog itself. And I'm going to take a peek to see if that printed. Okay. All right. When I pull that off, now I can look at my print and decide if I am happy with that print. And it was a successful print. So now I might make some adjustments. For example, you can see the yellow does not print very well against the white. So I could redo this on white paper and just change out my ink colors. Maybe I don't do yellow, and maybe I do just the orange and the pink instead to see how that's going to look. So what I'm going to do is put this paper off to the side. And now I can re-ink this plate without needing to clean that plate. But, well, I take that back. We're going to make what's called a ghost print. So when we do a ghost print, we take an extra set of paper, we set that on top. This is really just cleaning your printing plate. So the ink that's still sticky is going to transfer to your ghost print paper. And you can see that it's light compared to this. That's where it gets its name, ghost print, because it's a much lighter copy. But what that did was that just cleaned off my stamp. So now I can roll more ink straight across my stamp. So I decided I didn't like that yellow. I'm just going to stick with orange and pink. I need to make sure I still have enough ink on that plate. I'm going to put a little bit more ink on here. I'm going to roll it 2 ways till it's completely sticky and evenly applied. And I worked with orange first because it's lighter than the pink. And now I might do orange maybe in the corners. Maybe orange across the belly. And maybe my pink's going to be my sides. Now I can see this pink is still really, really inked up well. I don't need to add more ink to that plate. Okay. So now I'm going to get my paper and I'm going to try that process again. Line it up and start to massage. Okay, I'm going to peel it back to make sure it made a good copy. And I know where to massage better. Okay, and that is, in my opinion, this is a more successful print compared to this one because of that yellow is now gone and now I can see that easier. So what I don't see in this is the eyeballs on my dog, and that's okay because I can add them later on when we do our embellishments once this ink is dry. So I'm always going to do a ghost print. I'm going to use my exact same paper as before. Set that ghost print paper on top. Massage, massage, massage. That's cleaning off the plate. So now I can switch out colors and you can see you're going to get an interesting print on your ghost prints also. So that's the process of doing your inking. You're going to move table to table, selecting the colors that you want to. When you're done using the brayer, it goes right back in the same color tray that it was before. And then make sure that, oh, this is important, forgot to go over this. I'm going to use an ink pen so you can see it clearly on the video. You can use a pencil to do this, and I'll actually have pencils on the table. You always want to label your prints. So in the bottom left corner, I'm going to write my name. And then you could put the date if you want to know the specific date. So today is, when I recorded the video, is the 11th of December. And then I can add my print number later. So really that's determined based upon how many prints I do in the series, and I won't know that until I'm done with how many prints I do, but I can start with the top number. I know this was number 1, so I'm going to put the number 1 over on the right corner. I don't need to label my ghost print. Okay, my second print, I'm going to write my name in the bottom left corner.